let's talk about the Angular assignment. So the Angular assignment is going to give us a chance to play around and become familiar with the Angular framework. We're going to be implementing the student side of a learning management system that we've been working for the semester using the mean stack, right? And again, the mean stack stands for Mongo, Express, Angular, and Node.js, of which we're only going to be focusing with Angular this first week or so. So in this application, we're going to be building the student side of the learning management system, right? We're going to be implementing a course list a component, right? That's going to go and fetch the list of courses, right, and then render them as a table, right? So different lines, line items for each one of the courses. It's going to be a read-only operation, right? So it's not going to have any of the behaviors such as being able to remove a course or edit the name of the course or add new courses. None of that, right? So that only lives in the React world, which only faculty can use, yes? Whereas this is on the student side, right, implemented with Angular, that only students can use, okay? So although this is rendered as if it were a vertical list, really this is an entire screen that takes up the entire width of the page. So this is an entire screen that renders each course as a list, as a link, so that when you click on a particular course, it navigates to a separate screen, right? And that screen displays details about that particular course, right? Such as the name of the course, the modules in that course, the lessons in the particular module that you select, right? So that's going to be the focus of this assignment, creating the list of courses on a screen, and then a course viewer that displays the details of a course. And for the course viewer, we're only going to focus on the module and the lesson, not the topics. All right, for the topic, we're going to do in the next assignment. They're being displayed here, but they're not required for this assignment, right? Only the modules, right, and the lessons for the course viewer. Yes? Okay. So obviously we're going to need to learn how to navigate, right? How to map URLs, how to do routing, how to go fetch data from the server. We're going to be using the same Java servers or generic servers that we've been using in previous assignments. It's the same URL queries, right? So feel free to reuse all that logic that you have already implemented using JavaScript. All right, bring it as much as you want over. Right. What's going to change is that we're going to be using Angular to render all this content. Okay, as a read-only operation. So first we'll implement a RESTful services, just like we did, right? We implemented using the fetch. We're going to go fetch this data from a remote server, and we're going to implement two services to go fetch all the courses and to fetch a single course, and then we'll also implement services to go fetch the modules for a particular course and the lessons for a particular module. Right? Notice that we don't have here any of the create course, create module, create lessons, none of that. Right? We also don't have any of the deletes, any of the updates, none of that. Right? Because we are in the students use cases, right? Where we only have read-only operations. We can only read the data. We can't modify the data. Right? So none of the update commands are here. Also for the queries and the URLs, these are the same URLs that you are already familiar in the generic server, right? Or if you're using the Java server, right? These are the same URLs that we've been using so far, right? So it's the same. So feel free to reuse whatever you already did in the previous assignments for that. Okay. Then we're going to implement an Angular component, a couple of Angular components, one for rendering the list of courses in a tabular format. Okay, this is the same layout that we used a while back, where we implemented a list of services, a list of courses either as a table or as a grid. Remember that? And you could toggle between the two. Here we're only just going to do the table, right? We're not going to toggle between a table and a grid, only just a table. Okay. Later on, we might take a look at providing a grid representation of the same data. But for this assignment, only the table. Okay, and it's going to be mapped to this URL /table/courses, right? Which will render the list of courses as in tabular format. Then there'll be a course viewer. The course viewer is going to implement this right-hand side over here, right, which is going to render the modules and the lessons, right? So the course viewer is going to render a list of modules on the left-hand side and the tabs on the top of the screen. Yeah. For the table component, right, we are going to map it to this routing URL, right, and it's going to render as follows, right? But instead of being rendered just vertical here, it's going to take up the entire screen, right? For the list of modules, it's going to render the modules here, and as you click different modules, it'll highlight the right module. Is going to update the URL as well, right, so that you can use the ID of the module to highlight the correct module. And as you click through the modules, it'll render the different lessons for that module, okay? And the modules, the lessons will render as tabs. And if you click on different tabs, it'll highlight that particular tab. Okay, it'll change also the URL for the current lesson that is selected. And the course viewer is just going to take the module list, right, and the lesson tabs, and it's going to render them left side, right-hand side, right, as in a row, as two different columns, like a left-hand side, right-hand side. A couple of naming conventions. Make sure that you use white spaces correctly. You use padding and margins, and be consistent about using your justification, your styling, your colors, your white spaces. Be consistent. Make sure that things are aligned vertically and horizontally. That things are highlighted when they're selected, right? Make sure that the navigation is well understood. Where are you in the particular place in the application, right? And this needs to be obviously deployed into a Heroku or AWS instance, right? And when you submit it for the TAs, make sure to always provide all the links to all the servers, all the clients, all the GitHub repositories, right? So that TAs can navigate and see all your code. All right.